What is up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond. I am back. All right. I have been MIA since last week because last week me and my family went on a carnival cruise to celebrate my sister's birthday. She turned the big 2-1, and that was our first ever cruise as well as big time vacation. You know what I'm saying? And it was an amazing time. An amazing time. If I have any subscribers that have done carnival cruises, let me know which cruise you were on. We were on the Carnival Radiance, where we saw the water park for the kids, and it was a really dope experience. You know, we packed, excuse me, before we needed, and just to be prepared for everything was like a first experience for it all. You know what I'm saying? Walking on the boat, getting to our rooms, seeing everything, it was just like wow. Okay, just pure wow, pure wow. Our ports were Cabo and Ensenada. Going to Cabo was like crazy. Like the tourists came at you like a wave. Like every moment someone is asking you for a tour to go to a glass bottom boat, a tour to go dolphin swimming, or a ride downtown. It was just so much in the face, okay? I don't knock it because that's how they make their money, but it was just overwhelming. We went to the swap meets. You know, me and my mom, my sisters, we bought a couple of little bags here and there. My husband, there was this lady walking around with an iguana, and I got scared. My mom and my sister got scared, but I told them, go do it to my husband. She put it on his hand. He held it because my husband had an iguana once upon a time. So it was cool to see him do that. It was just a whole lot, okay? A whole lot, y'all. I just loved it. Me and my family loved it. Kid you not, we already got the bug when we are out of town, and we were going for 5 days, right? Like after that, we gotta go again. Because it's really fun when you are just taking a break, and that was a real break we needed from school, from life with the bills. It was really, really dope, okay? So I'm excited. I'm all geeked up because we just got back this past Sunday, right? And also, happy belated Memorial Day. I hope everyone had a great Memorial Day. I hope y'all either lounged or barbecued, all right? So while I did not review the episode of Bell Collector Birmingham the weekend before, as well as this past Saturday, it's just Cliff Notes version, you know what I'm saying? Because the whole season has been about Tiffany and Stormi, okay? These two ladies are strong in their morals and their beliefs, and they're just two ships passing, okay? And I feel like they don't want to admit defeat, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I gotta sneeze. I feel like a sneeze coming. Tiffany doesn't recognize the way that she comes across, that it could be dismissive, condescending, okay? And I can tell that Stormi, she wants to have a fresh start on being around like-minded women based off of her experience on Love and Marriage Huntsville, right? And Stormi has that energy where she has to be on go for any kind of bullshit, which I could understand, right? Because she is also very sensitive to want to be liked, to want to be accepted. I don't think that Tiffany is really looking for a way to really like understand Stormi, because I feel like Tiffany wants to look at Stormi as if she found this new fame, new money, and she just assuming she's what's the word, braggadocious, you know what I'm saying? She's humbuggish, you know what I'm saying? She's all about material things, all because Tiffany felt the way about being invited to Stormi's estate, all right? Kid you not. Stormi's house is grand, is beautiful, is gorgeous. You can smell the richness when you pass through the gates, okay? All the way up the hill in the go-kart, you see her acres, you see her horses, you know, you see her house, you see it all, right? I can tell that Tiffany definitely was intimidated by that, right? And I feel like Tiffany was looking for a reason to add to that assumption, you know what I'm saying? While Stormi really wanted to invite her to treat her in a different way than how she was treated, you know what I'm saying? So based off of what happened the week before, where she invited them to her house, she wanted them to have a good time. So then we get to the dinner scene where Stormi noticed that her seat was in the middle and she's claustrophobic. She had to remove her seat. Knowing that Tiffany heard her say that, I don't believe that Tiffany said she didn't hear it. I do think she heard it. And you're laughing at something that is a real fear. People are claustrophobic, so that's nothing to laugh at, right? So just the energy between the two of them, and Stormi was like, you ready to go home? She's like, I can, and then you can go. What I didn't like is that Stormi, wanted to follow her and make sure that she left. No, you've already given out your feelings. You should just let her go, right? But to be honest, that's not how uh Stormi wanted it to go. She did not want it to end in that way, but I feel like Tiffany is just on go to want to just like, I can't say attack, but she just looks for a reason to feel a way about something and then act like she's not feeling a way, or to act like she's not starting shit. That's exactly how Tiffany is. You know what I'm saying? But just recognizing that this is something that these two ladies would never like not really move forward from. It's just like crazy, right? Now we know Amber. Amber is completely like over it. But she's over it with feeling sad about it, because she is caught in the middle with two women who she's very good friends with. But here's my issue with you, Amber. I feel like you glossed over recognizing that Stormi was in the middle, knowing how Stormi is claustrophobic. But hey, we can tell production did that, because Anthony Lofty's, shout out to him, he noticed that the setup was different. Stormi's seat was at the head of the table. Production definitely moved her seat next to Tiffany for us to see that big reaction. So I feel like you really couldn't do anything about it. But I'm looking at you a bit differently, because I feel like you know exactly what to say in order to mend things, but you want to just not say anything because you don't want to admit that you know one of your friends was in the wrong. That's what I'm getting from you. You know what I'm saying, Amber? So they move on from there. They go to the fire pit to roast marshmallows. Amber's looking sad, but she is also getting ready to take her medicine to prep her egg retrieval. She has to take it at this particular time, otherwise she'll lose her window. And she wants Stormi to do the injection. Knowing that Stormi has a fear of needles, even though Stormi went through her own ordeal of going through IVF, where she has to get stuck with a needle, she was like, I ain't doing this mess ever again. But hey, Stormi's hand was a bit shaky, but we got it done. All right. So Stormi wants them to write a letter to talk about something they want to get rid of and throw it into the fire. They have the choice not to share it. Netta wants to get rid of fear. Amber is not telling what her fear is, which I feel like what you trying to hide, what are you trying to keep private, like what's going on there. Fumi, she wants to get rid of self-doubt, because she is talking about being from Nigeria, knowing that she has accomplished a lot. She's also been taught not to brag about her accomplishments, but she's been told to be humble. But it's just kind of like, I hear you, Fumi. You've been preaching the same exact story since we met you. You come from a state of poverty. You know, you've been through the struggle. You have made a career, a name for yourself, for you and your family, and you want to like balance that, where I know where I came from, and it shouldn't be a problem that I want more for myself and my family. But it's the way you went about it in this episode, Fumi, that I didn't like, but we'll get into it. Because you're looking at a $2 million house that's way too big for your family, as if you don't have a great big house to already live in, to be happy with. You want to live beyond your means, to present this image of what it means for it to look like what you've accomplished when you've already have been doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm getting from you. More will be said when we get to your scene. But hey, from right here, right now, that's where I'm leading it with. Kayla wants to release always apologizing for being who she is. You know what I'm saying? Whenever she messes up, she always has to apologize for being herself. She's not going to stop being herself. And I feel that with Kayla. I have been recognized of being a people pleaser. I have been recognized of being passive, because I sometimes carry that assumption that I'm never going to be understood if I express how I feel, that what I express isn't going to be understood. Folks are not going to understand what makes me feel this way. And I'm quick to apologize. I am. And it's just like, why am I apologizing for something that I didn't even do, something that I didn't even say? It's not even how I feel. I just don't want no one to be mad at me. And I think that's what Kayla comes from. And knowing what Kayla came from, I want her to not do that as well. I want her to love all of her. I want her to recognize that's who you are. Can't nobody make you feel bad about being who you are. If folks don't like it, folks not going to understand you, then fuck them. Period, point blank. Stormi wants to get rid of, I wish a bitch would try me. Okay? Like, she doesn't want to always tap into that energy, because she did grow up tough. We saw the way that her mom have treated her, spoke to her, because she wanted her to be prepared for the world and how tough it could be. But she wasn't left with softness. She wasn't left with nurturing. And I feel like that's why Stormi wants to showcase how sweet and nice she is, because I actually am nice. I am. But when it comes to somebody really trying to get to know her, or wishing for someone to get to know her, she be on guard so much, which I can completely understand. I really, really understand. You know what I'm saying? Because Stormi also has this thing where she never really addresses how she feels in moments. You know what I'm saying? She does little things that doesn't clear up how she feels. Like, she's not saying it all the way because she doesn't want to bother nobody. She doesn't want to make nobody feel a way about something. But if it's really affecting her, then she does the opposite. And yes, having that wall, having that guard up, with trying to showcase how I'm coming in all niceness, all sweet, but you give me different energy, then I gotta flip it and be on some, okay, bitch, try me. I completely understand that. Completely get it. So she talked about, growing up from the South, our ancestors had a nonchalant attitude, don't give a fuck. If you show any emotions, that's a sign of you being weak. So they create this teach you tough love, so she never learned a different way of how to showcase niceness, gratitude. Well, she knows gratitude, but as far as like, showcasing, like I'm really coming in being cool, being transparent, being honest, but it's being met with like, you think it's an attitude, you think it's me trying to say I'm above you, and it's not really like, it's not really on that type of time. Like, I'm really trying to be open with you, and you see a different side of me, and I don't know why. So it is really sad sometimes that people who grow up in different ways, in different areas, that they're not met with nurturing love, they're not met with soft love, because my mom was met with tough love growing up, and she learned it and took it and navigated how she became an adult. But when she had me, she wanted to give me that proper balance of tough and softness. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to kick my child while they're down. I'm never going to come at them like they're dumb. I'm not going to do that. Hence so why I'm so affectionate towards my children, that I can't have that stern, brash voice to teach them on how you can't do this, you can't do that. But I'm also very nice and sweet after that. I'm a balance for my children. So I get that. And that was the end of the fire pit night. It was a very nice night overall, and that's what Stormi wanted Tiffany to experience, which is why she did not want the night to go the way that it went. Calling her a hoe and all that kind of stuff. It just went left because of the energy that Tiffany brought, okay? So we have a new scene. Stormi goes right back to the Civil Rights Institute because she wants to show her son a piece of history, but they're closed. And it's kind of like, what day did y'all go on? And then we're looking at the hours. They're from Tuesday to Saturday. I was like, did y'all not go on Google to find out what time the Civil Rights Institute was open and what days they open? Like, y'all go, come on now. And then she tells her mom that this is where her and Tiffany had their little scuffle. And she said, y'all had it right here? Yeah, right here. Do you know what's across the street? She said, no, what's across the street? Right there is a church that was also part of a bombing that caused the passing of 4 young African-American girls. And y'all had this type of discord when we have this type of history all around us? Insane. And I gotta commend Mama Betty for that, because that's also a sad piece of history right there. Like, the fact that you guys are literally on like the most infamous block on Birmingham, where there's so much history happening, there's so many statues that represents a piece of history. It's crazy that we're having fights that our ancestors fought for totally different reasons. And I love that they are introducing it to their son, so their son can know their history. And Stormi tells Courtney that after everything that went down with me sitting at dinner, recognizing that my plate was next to Tiffany, So she tells Courtney about how everything went left when she found out that she was sitting next to Tiffany. And he said, wait, is that you in the middle? Yeah. You know you claustrophobic, right? Yes, I am. So that's the whole thing about it. Her being claustrophobic is a real thing. Like, if her husband knows, why would there be something to laugh at? So once her expression of seeing that she was claustrophobic, Storm was like, listen, if you don't want to be here, you can go ahead and go. And she did not want to get defensive, but that's how I acted. I'm about to play with me in my own house. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to kick her out. Courtney said, hell yeah, I would have kicked her out. Like, listen, you're not about to come in my house and disrespect me. That's it, that's all. Courtney is like my husband. Because while my husband doesn't mind people coming over to his house, but he also wants to make sure that his home is being respected. So Stormi felt like her home was being disrespected, had every right to kick Tiffany out. So Stormi was like, listen, there could have been a million other ways that I could have told her to get out of my house. And the way that I went about it was not cool, okay? I called her a bitch. I called her a hoe. I should apologize. So I want to have a big dinner, and I'm going to call it the Last Supper. All right. She gonna invite everybody. We'll see from there. Then we got Tiffany's choosing lunch party. She invited all the girls last minute, and you know how she's still choosing to be with her husband for over 2.5 years. Y'all gonna have to help me out with this whole thing, okay? Because Tiffany really is like bugging the fuck out of me with this whole serving comment, okay? Like now she wants to prove that you could be humble and still serve, but I'm like, practice what you preach, Tiffany. You got this event. I need to see you serving the people. I need to see you handing out mocktails and fruit cocktails and shit. Like, you bugging me, girl. You beating it to the horse is dead. The horse is dead. All right, let the mouse go, as Sutton would say. Okay, like, either way. It's all about, you know, the shoes and shirt line that they came on the show with that I still don't really understand. We see her play cousin Kayla and Kendra. Those are real friends, right? So she talked about going over to Stormi's house and she got kicked out. She didn't explain the whole story, just got to the beginning to the end, okay? And they felt like, so you left by yourself? Nobody was there to back you up? Nobody else was defending you? Where were your friends at? I don't know where her friends were because Fumi ain't her friend. She's watching Kayla. I think Netta is in the middle. Amber, child, I don't know. But Tiffany said, listen, I don't need nobody. You know how I am. I stand 10 toes down on my damn self, okay? But the fact that they felt the way about her being kicked out on her own and no one else was there to, like, make sure she got good or make sure she was there. She was left safely. You know, she was left with somebody. I can get that. But to be honest, though, Tiffany was the only one doing the most to try to defend her reasoning as to why she said what she said and still didn't want to be held accountable. So why should anybody be there to make her feel better when it didn't make any sense, okay? So, the event was the event, okay? The whole thing about why did her husband choose her, he said because it was God, not the answer she wanted, and this is like, whatever. Yes, choosing to still be with your partner is a choice. Yes, okay? I'm Fumi. When she said that when she met her husband, it was an amazing love story. I was desired. I was born. I was desired. I was wanted. I had no other options for me. So don't tell me that you chose me because God said to. No, 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 no. I need you to fully explain to me why you chose me to be your wife. What made me different than all the other girls you dealt with? Like, don't sell me that bullshit line. Like, nah, don't say it was God. Nah. All right. So then she opens up the floor for constructive criticism on how maybe to make the t-shirt line like be more amazing. And yes, there should be more colors. Like you had the plain black and white, the big block letters. That's like some old 2010 shit. Embroidery stitching would have been better. Like these shirts were giving family vacation. All right. Amber says make sure you use the same vendor, the same design, because one of the shirts did not have an S all the way printed on it. And to be honest though, these shirts, I seen these type of shirts on a day-to-day basis when I go to Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Walmart, Target for less than like $10. I was gonna say 15, but for real, $10. All right, it's not funny. There are so many shirts that I've seen in Ross where there's always a scripture, there's always a symbol of a cross, a symbol of angel wings, a halo. It's always one of those things that's supposed to create like a nice simple line that is representing that God loves you, you are blessed, you are worthy. Girl, these shirts are a dime a dozen. You're not doing nothing different. That is screaming to the top of the world, we gotta buy these shirts. And it was plain, all right? So the ladies receive a text message of how Stormi wants to invite everybody to a celebratory dinner. And Fumi was so geeked to get this invite. She ran to Tiffany to let her know that Stormi invited everybody. At the moment, Tiffany said, no, I'm not going to come, okay? And Tiffany feels like, no, not that part. Fumi lets her know that the rest of the night, Stormi was being genuine. She was very emotional about recognizing where you and her might have not been able to really understand one another. She wants to fix it. She says that you guys are a lot alike. Tiffany wasn't believing the tears. She believes that Stormi was wrong, and the fact that Stormi is now recognizing how wrong she feels or how bad she feels like it's just a way for her to be viewed by the girls. Like, she did all that to make the girls like her. That wasn't towards me. And the way that she was explaining it to Fumi, Fumi said, don't tell me, tell her. You ain't got to tell me, tell her. But at the same point of time, though, Fumi, you made it aware for her to know about the invite. And you made her aware that Stormi did feel bad about how that night ended. So, Fumi, don't do that, because you looked very thirsty and excited for this kind of news to be spread and the invite, okay? So as far as like we're all discussing of how Tiffany, left the house, we got her cousin Kayla coming in addressing the ladies about why didn't anybody leave with her? Why didn't anyone tell her that she was wrong? And I think she addressed Amber in that way. And Amber was like, okay, first of all, you weren't there. And if you want to know what went down, talk to Tiffany, don't talk to me. Yeah, no, please. Do not come at me in this way. Because you don't know, you weren't there, talk to Tiffany. Get Tiffany's side of things, okay? Stay over there, don't come over here. And I do appreciate Amber for checking Kayla, because Kayla, you only know half the story, and yes, that's your cousin. I'm ride or die for my cousin as well. But what I'm not going to do is make it seem as if everybody else is at fault for what my cousin did. I'm not going to do that, because you know your cousin. You know how your cousin can definitely say things that get under people's skin. So miss me with that, all right? So that was pretty much the end of that scene. We got Fumi and her husband. She heads over to her husband's office with food. Now, when the food came to the office, the bag fell. The food fell out, but it didn't open. So 5-second rule. Then her husband presented her with chocolates. Now, knowing that she is a lover of chocolates, this is also what her husband likes to do. When he gives her sweet things, he's about to come with bad news. Well, you're buttering him up with food though, Fumi. So y'all both on the same type of time. So he's telling her that they have to reconsider of putting the house on the market. And she immediately got defensive. She don't want to hear that bad news. But he told her, we have had over 30 showings of this house. We've had offers, but they have been lowball offers. And we live in a predominantly white neighborhood. Our kids go to a predominantly white school. They're shortchanging us. We're not going to receive the same amount of money we pay for the house. That's not going to be the case. And that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, the house that y'all living in is a gorgeous home, and nobody wants to give you the money that it's worth because you guys are black? Crazy as fuck. Then Fumi lets us know that they had a dream home that they fell in love with. They put an offer. The offer got accepted. Right when her husband brought the earnest money, they rescinded the offer. They said the owner decided not to sell it. And Fumi felt like it won't even matter how good we dress. It doesn't matter that we have legitimate businesses, how we came from a good school, we have great education. They're not going to see us as important people to do business with. They're not going to care. All they see is that we are black and we don't deserve to have nice things, which is kind of fucked up. So he's letting her know the house will be taken off the market. Not today, but it will be taken off in March. Now, Fumi got angry. She got upset because she said, we had a deal. We were going to come together with this house and put the other house on the market. So she takes her food and his food and walks out. And she said, listen, you talking rubbish and I'm not going to listen to you. But you can't do that, Fumi. You can't leave in the middle of a conversation. I know it's not going the way you want it to go, but there needs to be a result of this. If he's letting you know that we're having a hard time selling the house that we're already in, what makes you think we're going to have a greater opportunity for the house you're trying to find? This house that you want us to buy, what makes you be going to have an easier transition of buying this house if we barely got the house we got? Because you just let us know, Fumi. Y'all had a hard time finding y'all dream home before. One dream home got taken away from y'all. Y'all got this home. Why can't you be happy with this home? This home literally has everything you're thinking about. I hear it's 5 bedrooms, 5 beds, 5 bathrooms, 5 beds. You have your dream closet. Like, what more do you want, Fumi? So when her husband comes and follows her outside, he says, why did you walk out? She thinks that he reneged on buying the house, but I feel like he's been putting the effort into getting you what you want, but he's looking at what makes sense. It don't make sense for us to get rid of the house that we already got, and we're having hard times of getting a really good offer. we should figure out what we can do for the meantime. He said, I want a backyard. Even though he had already expressed to Fumi early in the season he didn't want to move. His kids don't want to move. So, like, Fumi, you really pissed me off with that. I feel like you want to, oh my God, because it's not like you don't have the money. You told us about how much you make being a content creator, right? Your husband is also an attorney, and y'all also a part of a brokerage company. Like, y'all got money, okay? It's not saying that, but I feel like you want to match the house in your head. That makes sense to what you guys have as far as bringing in money. But your home matches that, in my opinion. It's like you want to be on the same kind of level where Stormi is, but you don't have to. Fumi, no one else was questioning how much money you make and don't make. Y'all came in with it. Like, I'm sorry, Fumi. Like, that really bugged me. The way that you felt the way about your husband telling you about the house needing to be put off the market, and you thinking that it's not what because you keep on going on about the struggles and what you've been through, but I feel like you already living the story. What else do you need? You don't need a big ass house with big archways and acres and shit. You don't need all that shit. Just because you have the money doesn't mean you should spend it. You don't need to spend what you don't need. You don't need it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Fumi. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to say because it's not working. Okay, Fumi. You want it for optics purposes. Like, you want someone to be in awe when they walk inside your home. I was in awe when I saw your closet. Like, what more recognition do you need when it comes to your dream home? What more? And what's the purpose of your dream home? Is it because you want to make sure you and your family are good? Or you want to be liked by strangers? Liked by what people see on the internet? Like, what? I don't understand. I'm going off. I'm done with this. Okay, Fumi, I'm done. So, we are at Stormi's Last Supper. It's giving traders, okay? Like, it's all dark, it's all mysterious. Everything looked great. The decor was everything, right? Everybody came dressed, and just wondering, where's Tiffany? Amber said she had a good egg retrieval that had about 23 eggs ready to be frozen. Now, she has to find a husband. Do I think she wants a husband? I don't know. Does she want a husband? I don't know. So, Fumi lets everyone know she had this agreement with her husband, Sam, about the house, right? So he said, I'm giving you 21 days to get the house sold. And if it's not sold, it's going off the market. Now, 21 days is not a long time for a home to be sold, especially if the price point you guys are asking for this home and you guys are getting lowball offers, that home is getting put off the market. And it's already been said your husband didn't want to move anyway. So we then talk about Tiffany's cousin, Kayla, checking Amber as to why nobody went after Tiffany. Why didn't anybody stick up for her? And Amber was like, first of all, don't come at me. I don't know you. You don't know me, girl. Please, I got nothing to say to you, right? And as far as like, did you tell her that your friend was wrong? They were wondering, then how did she know who was wrong? Same way Tiffany said. Tiffany made it seem that you were the only one that did anything wrong to her when she's also the person that came in with the wrong energy. But Stormi did not allow it to fester in her feelings. Stormi did not allow for it to bother her in that way. She just said, all right, fine, I'm going to let it go. That was a nasty sound, excuse me. And also recognizing that what Tiffany said and Kendra and Kayla was fighting for her behalf, Tiffany didn't say anything. Tiffany did not step in and make sure that her friends did not treat her other friend in a nasty way. No, she just let it happen. So Tiffany, surprise, surprise, ended up showing up because it is the last cast event. You've been present all season. You really want to lose out on a check about not showing up to the last episode? Okay. Stormi immediately came out the gate with apologizing to Tiffany, saying, I'm sorry the way that I approached you and how I acted out at my house. That's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want that to happen. I should not have done that. I was out of my character, and I hope you accept my apology. Tiffany appreciates the apology. Now, some time had happened since the apology was given. I felt the way about how Tiffany still isn't going to be apologetic for the things that she has said and done. But to my surprise, she did end up also extending an apology. Okay? Which I really appreciated. And when it also came down to the whole mop comment, she should not have repeated that it was funny to her. That's not what was the point. The point was Stormi didn't like it. She didn't find it funny. You should let that ass. I understand that it wasn't funny. And she also reflects on her childhood that she's always been raised to be on go and no one could ever try me. And now she's gotten older. I shouldn't pop off so easily. So that's something that both Stormi and Tiffany can connect on. Excuse me. Kayla also gives props on Stormi being the bigger person by apologizing. Amber thinks that it's going to be great because she's been trying to figure out how to get them to be cool for the last month. She's been stressing about it so much. Fumi don't believe that they actually buried the hatchet. They're just trying to get along. I'm with Fumi. Because y'all got to be part of this group. Y'all got to figure out how to move forward at some point. Oh, Tiffany. Here we go again. Once after receiving an apology, Tiffany always got to come up with a backhanded way of still trying to watch people's movements. Like, girl, if you want to still come up with a backhanded statement by saying, I still got to watch you, I'll forgive you, but I'm not going to forget, then your apology don't mean shit. You did the same thing to Kayla. When you assumed she was there to be Stormi's spy and you was wrong, you apologize, but still say, I'm going to watch you. People need to watch you. Okay, you always want to talk about people's displays of character. It's always going to come out to the light. Girl, your character has come out to the light. You've displayed yourself as conniving and sneaky and not fully trustworthy, okay? I can't stand Tiffany, y'all. I really can't. And then Fumi says that, everyone has different senses of humor that we're not used to. Okay, we got the mop. We got the mention of the line of the cocaine that made everybody laugh. All right. Kayla said, I did do that. I did. Yeah, I said that. Now, Amber draws her attention to Kayla as if Kayla is still laughing about the comment. But Fumi made it apparent to bring it up, and it was funny to bring back up. Why aren't you looking at Fumi sideways? That she brought back the attention of the line of coke comment that was towards your niece. Why are you still looking at Kayla? To me, Amber, you really don't want to get to know Kayla. You are still steadfast on not liking Kayla. And then Fumi, she's just calling out how everybody needs to be good with one another, and she points out that she got an issue with Amber because apparently Amber has been making a lot of short jokes about Fumi, and Fumi is not liking it. She said, no, I need you to stop with the short jokes. Fumi says, if you make one more short joke, I'm going to check you the way that Tiffany's cousin checked you. That's what I'm going to do. I was like, oh, wow. So Amber, you're not as perfect as you try to make it out to be. Like, you're just quick to check someone else's energy. You're just quick to know how someone's character can be this and be that, and yet you're not looking in the mirror. So you said a lot of funny jokes that Fumi didn't find funny. She found offensive. Because if you've been saying Oompa Loompa jokes and midget jokes and she said that's not funny, oh, bet. So you're in the same realm as Tiffany. You can say funny things, but when someone tells you it's not funny, you want to still defend it as it's funny. Got it. No. I got it. Because even Fumi mentioned that she was bullied for being short. So if you think that telling me how's the weather down there is funny and you're saying it multiple times, it's not funny. You think you're being funny, but you're not. So all of y'all should take a look in the mirror at the way that you guys all joke is not always welcome. It's not always, accepted and invited. So y'all all got to be aware that when you are making a joke to someone's expense, it can't feel like you're picking. And if someone doesn't let you know that it's not funny, then they're not going to recognize how they should treat you. Thank you, Fumi. No. I appreciate that because that lets me know that, Amber, you got some shit you need to figure out for yourself as well. You too busy putting that energy on Kayla because you don't want to get to know her. Think that she's the only one that's making a lot of offensive jokes towards someone. Hell nah. You've made offensive jokes and so has Tiffany. Fucking miss me. Moving on. I don't know why Tiffany wanted to question what is Stormi's definition of spiritual and what is the reason why you want to call it the Last Supper. Do you know why Jesus had the Last Supper? Ma'am, we don't need a history lesson of how we have been taught from the Bible about what the meaning of the Last Supper is, but Stormi explained the reasoning, and then we see transitions of Stormi washing the lady's feet. I get the symbolicness of it all, but that was like a literal symbolism of, trying to move forward and try to, wash away all of the negativity and all that kind of stuff. Fumi was like, I don't do that. I'm from Nigeria. We don't believe in washing someone's feet that we've only met. We don't really know that well. But I get the reason why. So in the end, she blindfolds all the ladies and brought them to the town square so they can see their billboard. It was a gift that Stormi wanted to present to the ladies. That's why they had their photo shoot. It was to present it on a billboard, which was very dope, very cool. And that was the end of the episode, and that was also the end of season 1 of Belle Collective Birmingham. I ain't gonna lie, this was a very good show. I not surprised that it's short. I mean, it's the first season, right? You know, less than 8 episodes. You know, we got a reunion coming up. This better be a 1 part, because there was nothing else being presented on this show other than an argument between Tiffany and Stormi about a fucking mop. But either way, I can't wait for the reunion. It looks like it's gonna be a really, really good show. And maybe this show can be something. Maybe we need more people in, and we should definitely broaden the episode so we can get more from the ladies. You know what I'm saying? And I applaud Carlos. I applaud Stormi. Good show overall. So y'all, let me know what y'all think. All right? Excuse me. And what do y'all predict what the reunion is gonna be like? Okay? But y'all, that's all I have. Please stay tuned for the next video, and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.